Hey guys, it's Fabio with Fresco Recording. Thanks for tuning in. If you're keeping up with our videos, the last one was about how to properly or cleanly record your vocals and instruments into your DAW or recording program. And in this video, Sean Peterson with Pensacola Audio Documentation is going to walk us through what mastering is and what he prefers on the technical side from a client who wants their track mastered and for Sean to be able to turn it into a masterpiece. With that said, thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like and subscribe below, and don't forget to comment if there's anything specific that you want to know more about. So what's the difference between mixing and mastering? It's important to be able to communicate with your mastering or mix engineer, so let's break that down a little bit. Mixing is usually after you've recorded the track or the tracks and you start kind of level matching everything where you want it. You use some pans, you use effects, compression, EQ, and you're kind of balancing out the track to sound like you wanted to hear it in your head. Like, I want this vocal to sound like a telephone effect and have it maybe real reverby in the background. Like, all that's going to be done in the mixing stages. We're not really focusing on making it radio loud. But after that, you send it to a mastering engineer and they're going to take the mix from there. Mastering is similar to mixing, except EQs and compression and other things are used a little bit differently, and it's kind of used over the whole track instead of each individual element. Everyone approaches mixing and mastering differently, so Sean Peterson with Pensacola Audio Documentation is going to join us and explain what mastering is and what he expects to receive from his clients.
Hey y'all, mastering is probably the most misunderstood part of the recording process, so let's begin by trying to define what mastering is. In a nutshell, a mastering engineer takes your hard work that you've put into the recording and mixing process and packages it in a way that can be consumed and enjoyed by your fans. The best analogy I've come across came from my friend and mastering engineer Bill Roberts. He equated it to putting a frame around a painting. The painting is done, but how you present it can affect it in a big way. Every releasable format of music, from Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, to the physical formats like vinyl records, cassette tapes, and even CDs, they all have different specifications which affect the way your music's going to sound. So the mastering engineer's job is to understand how you want to release your music and ensure that your artistic intent is best conveyed. We're looking at the big picture for sure. We don't have control over the individual elements of your mix. And what we're trying to do is just create an overall tonal balance. We're trying to ensure that if it's an EP or a full length, that each song sounds good next to one another. Of course, that they're all at the appropriate volume level. The big question I always get asked is, why can't we just do this when we're mixing? Why can't we just put our mastering processors on our mix bus and just go from there? The short answer is you can, and a lot of people do for various reasons. My opinion is that the biggest benefit you get from a mastering engineer is an outside perspective, somebody who can hear your music for the first time, who can maybe hear problems that you aren't hearing. Often a mastering engineer's fresh ears can help fix problems before he even starts to work on your music. I'll often get a mix and send it back for things to be fixed before we even start mastering, and it saves a lot of time and can often just have some aha kind of moments where you hear things that you didn't hear before. If you're planning on working with a mastering engineer, I'd say the biggest thing to keep in mind is that they can make it as loud as you want or need it to be. That being said, I always encourage my clients to mix the record as if what they mix is going to be what people are going to hear. You really want all of the creative decisions to be made during the mix process as much as possible. Now, when you develop a relationship with a mastering engineer, sometimes you can figure out how those things can be moved along. But for the most part, You want the mastering engineer just to put that nice pretty bow on it so that you can put it out to the world. Definitely don't assume that anything is going to be fixed in mastering. You really want, if anything, just for the good stuff to be accentuated. But at the same time, I'd say if you have any questions, just talk to a mastering engineer. There's no doubt that the best masters come from the best mixes, so your mastering engineer wants to talk to you and wants to get it right. As far as tech specs go, most mastering engineers really just want a few decibels of headroom to work with. -6 on your true peak meter is what you'll often see in forum posts online, but really, as long as we have just enough, -3, even sometimes -1, we're okay. We prefer WAV files in the resolution in which they were recorded, which means if you recorded at 24-bit 48 kilohertz, that's how you want to deliver your mixes. If for whatever reason you've recorded at a lower resolution, like 16-bit 44.1K, just keep it there. You're not going to do any benefit by taking it up to 24 afterwards. So just whatever resolution you've recorded it in, send that to your mastering engineer. And again though, in the end, if you have any questions and aren't sure, just ask a mastering engineer. Most of us really want to help, and we can be just as beneficial just answering questions as we can actually processing your mixes. Hope this has been helpful. Take care.
All right, so that was great information from Sean. Now I'm going to show you an example of a song that was tracked and mixed here at Fresco and then sent over to Sean for the master. The band is called the Defrosters, and they're based out of Orange Beach, Alabama. And I'll have their link below so you can check out some of their music. Now I'm showing you the mix after it's been bounced down to a stereo file. Make sure while you're mixing to not move the master fader or the level of the master. As you see, mine is set to 0. If it's not metering at the range that Sean explained, then edit that particular element in the mix. You want to keep your master bus at full resolution if possible. Also, do not add any processing to the master bus that's not needed. This song was recorded and mixed at 48K sample rate and 24 bits, so that's how I sent it to Sean. And as you can see, the track is not flat or compressed to death. You can actually see some dynamic range. I'll go ahead and let you hear a little sample of this mix.
Want to shed with just anyone but you, girl, but you. Grab your hat and my guitar. We lay down beneath the stars and sing a mighty tune.
All right, now I'm going to import the master that I got back from Sean so that you can hear and see the difference. So as you can see here, this is what a common master file would look like. So if yours looks like this before going to master, then you need to ask your mastering engineer what you may have done wrong and make sure you fix that so it looks a little bit more like the one I have. Now I've adjusted the level so that you can hear the difference at close to the same volume.
Sandy beach, toasty sun night. Wouldn't want to shed with just anyone but you, girl, but you. Grab your hat and my guitar. We lay down beneath the stars and sing a mighty tune. Watch the waves as they crash in. Feel the mist on my skin, oh girl.
As you can hear with Sean's master, everything's up front and it's clear on the master, no distorting from being too compressed. And there you have it. That's about it. So as Sean said, communication is key. Make sure you communicate with your engineer. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If there's something that you're not completely understanding, just shoot them a message because they'd rather handle that on the front end instead of the back end. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. And as I mentioned earlier, comment below on what you want to know more about, and we'll try to make a video for that. So appreciate you tuning in. Until next time.